While the world celebrated his record-breaking contract, he stood on a mound in Seoul, South Korea, and lived through a nightmare. 5 runs, 1 inning, 43 pitches. The most disastrous debut by a Dodgers starting pitcher in over a century. This isn't the story of talent. This is the story of what happens when a kid who used to cry over a lost lunchbox grows into a man carrying the expectations of 2 nations and the burden of proving he's worth every single dollar. Welcome back to Foul Ball, where we don't chase highlights. We chase the truth behind the numbers, the moments that shape legends when no one's watching. If you're here for real baseball stories that hit deeper than box scores, hit subscribe. Let's get into it. Long before sold-out stadiums, long before $325 million, long before anyone called him the best pitcher in Japan, Yoshinobu Yamamoto was just a small, emotional kid from Bison, Okayama, a city more famous for pottery than baseball. Born August 17, 1998, his grandmother chose his name with intention. Yoshi, from his mother Yumi, Nobu, from his father Tadanobu, a name that bound his parents together, the way baseball would later bind him to his family's expectations. His father, Tadanobu, wasn't a professional athlete. He was a working man who believed in discipline, in work ethic, in perseverance, and from the earliest age, young Yoshinobu absorbed those values. But here's what most people don't know. Yamamoto wasn't a prodigy. At 6 years old, when he joined his first baseball team, he played third base, then catcher. He didn't even touch the pitcher's mound until 3rd grade, and he cried a lot. He's admitted it himself. I used to cry a lot. I remember one day I cried because I couldn't find my lunchbox in my backpack. I also hated to lose, so I think I cried every time we lost. This wasn't a kid destined for greatness. This was a kid who felt everything too deeply, who carried every failure like a weight on his chest, who had to learn that greatness isn't given, it's earned through tears. At age 15, Yoshinobu Yamamoto stood at a crossroads. He was small, thin, overlooked. He enrolled at Miyako-Nojo Senior High School, and scouts weren't watching. Why would they? He threw 83 miles per hour as a freshman. Respectable, not special, but Yamamoto made a decision that would change everything. He chose the hardest path. Not talent, not shortcuts, systematic, obsessive development. His high school coach forced him to run miles and miles. Yamamoto hated it. He thought it was pointless, but he did it anyway, because discipline isn't about doing what feels good. It's about doing what's necessary when no one's applauding. And here's where the numbers become impossible to ignore. Freshman year, 83 miles per hour. Sophomore year, 91 miles per hour. By his summer tournament senior year, 94 miles per hour, 11 miles per hour in 2 years. That's not genetics. That's not luck. That's what happens when someone small decides the only way forward is to become more efficient than everyone else. But just when his dream seemed within reach, at 17, before his final high school tournament, Yamamoto felt it. Elbow pain. He could have shut it down, rested, protected his future. Instead, he hid the injury from everyone and pitched through it. Because for Yamamoto, quitting wasn't an option. The pain was temporary. The regret of not trying would last forever. When the 2016 NPB draft arrived, Yoshinobu Yamamoto waited and waited. First round? No. Second round? No. Third round? Still no. Too small. Injury concerns. Limited national exposure. Most teams passed on him. The Oryx Buffaloes finally selected him in the 4th round. Roughly 40 to 50 players had been chosen before him. One scout's report, projectable but risky. It was the last time anyone would underestimate him. Because what scouts couldn't measure, what draft boards couldn't quantify, was what burned inside Yamamoto. Not anger, not revenge, responsibility. The responsibility to prove that his father's discipline wasn't wasted. The responsibility to show that every tear he cried as a kid, every mile he ran in high school, every pitch he threw through pain, all of it mattered. At 18 years old, Yamamoto made a choice that defined his career. Instead of hitting the weight room like American prospects, he found a 60-something biomechanist named Osamu Yada, and together they built a system, not based on brute strength, based on movement efficiency, body weight exercises, stretches, throwing drills with soccer balls, mini javelins, and regulation baseballs. It was unconventional. It was obsessive. It worked. In 7 years with the Oryx Buffaloes, Yamamoto didn't just pitch. He dominated. 70 wins, 29 losses, 1.82 ERA, 3 consecutive MVP awards, 3 consecutive Sawamura Awards, Japan's Cy Young, 3 consecutive Triple Crowns, 2 no-hitters. By 2023, Yamamoto wasn't just the best pitcher in Japan. He was one of the most decorated pitchers in the league's 74-year history, and Major League Baseball was watching. If this story is hitting you, drop a baseball in the comments. And if you're here for real baseball storytelling that goes beyond the box score, make sure you're subscribed to Foul Ball. December 27, 2023. The Los Angeles Dodgers announced a deal that shook baseball. 12 years, $325 million, the largest contract for a pitcher in MLB history, plus a $50.6 million posting fee to the Oryx Buffaloes. Total investment, $375 million, for a pitcher who had never thrown a single pitch in Major League Baseball. The Yankees offered $300 million. The Mets offered similar money. But Yamamoto chose the Dodgers. He chose to play alongside Shohei Ohtani. He chose the pressure. Dodgers president Andrew Friedman said it best. You don't win 3 MVP awards by age 25 without an exceptional combination of talent, work ethic, and mental toughness. But mental toughness is tested in fire, and Yamamoto's fire was about to begin. Gochuk Sky Dome, Seoul, South Korea. Opening day of the MLB season. The entire baseball world watching. Yoshinobu Yamamoto took the mound for his MLB debut against the San Diego Padres. First batter, hit by pitch. Second batter, triple. Third batter, walk. Fourth batter, sacrifice fly. By the time the first inning ended, Yamamoto had allowed 5 runs on 4 hits. 43 pitches, only 23 strikes. He lasted 1 inning. The most runs allowed by a Dodgers starting pitcher in their MLB debut in over a century. After the game, Yamamoto stood at the podium. Through an interpreter, he said, "I feel regret that I just couldn't keep the team in the game from the get-go. I do feel a responsibility for it." Responsibility. There's that word again. Because for Yamamoto, failure isn't just disappointing, it's personal. Every run he allowed, every pitch that missed, every headline questioning whether he was worth $325 million, it all landed on his shoulders, and the weight was crushing. Lesser pitchers would have crumbled, lesser men would have made excuses. Yoshinobu Yamamoto went back to work. He studied film, he talked to his coaches, he adjusted. And on April 6, 2024, against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field, Yamamoto threw 5 scoreless innings, struck out 8, allowed just 3 hits, his first MLB win. Manager Dave Roberts said it perfectly. When he executes his pitches, he can get anyone out. But the road wasn't smooth. In June, Yamamoto suffered a rotator cuff strain, 60 days on the injured list. Some wondered if the pressure, the adjustment, the weight of it all had broken him. But Yamamoto wasn't raised to quit. He came back in September, finished the 2024 season, 7-2 record, 3.00 ERA, 105 strikeouts in 18 starts, and in Game 2 of the 2024 World Series against the New York Yankees, Yamamoto threw 6 1/3 innings of one-hit baseball. The Dodgers won the series, and Yamamoto proved he could handle the moment. But that was just the beginning. In 2025, Yoshinobu Yamamoto didn't just pitch well. He dominated. 30 starts, 12-8 record, 2.49 ERA, 201 strikeouts, named NL Pitcher of the Month for April, selected to his first All-Star game. On September 6th against the Baltimore Orioles, Yamamoto came 1 out away from a no-hitter. 2 outs in the 9th inning. Jackson Holliday hit a home run. So close. But Yamamoto didn't sulk, because the real test was still ahead. The 2025 World Series against the Toronto Blue Jays. And Yamamoto didn't just show up, he became legendary. He won 3 games in a single World Series, the first pitcher to do that since Randy Johnson in 2001. In Game 2 of the NLCS, he threw a complete game, his first in MLB. In Game 7 of the World Series, with the Dodgers' backs against the wall, Yamamoto delivered. World Series Most Valuable Player. Shohei Ohtani called him the #1 pitcher in the whole world. Dave Roberts yelled into the cameras, "Yamamoto's the GOAT." Every time Yoshinobu Yamamoto steps on the mound now, he isn't pitching for applause. He's pitching for the kid from Bison who cried when he lost. He's pitching for his father, Tadanobu, who taught him discipline when talent wasn't enough. He's pitching for everyone who said he was too small, too risky, not worth the 4th-round pick. And he's pitching to prove that pressure doesn't break everyone. Sometimes it sharpens them. That calm expression on his face, it's not arrogance, it's relief. Relief that all the work, all the tears, all the wait, it meant something. This is foul ball, where baseball isn't just played, it's lived. Subscribe for more stories you won't hear anywhere else.